Would you open it if you heard your mother's voice crying from inside? This is not a village story. This happened in a modern African city. I am Amara Ahmed. I'm 25 years old. I live in Lagos, Nigeria. And before you judge anything I'm about to say, before you decide this is superstition, imagination, or grief, I need you to understand something first. I am not from a village. I don't wear wrappers every day. I don't live around shrines or forests. I wear blazers. I wear jeans. I order food with apps. I work in an office with glass walls and air conditioning. This happened in the middle of a modern African city. And I wish it did in single quotes T. My mother died on a Thursday evening. Just collapsed. 1 minute she was complaining about traffic. The next minute she was on the kitchen floor, still holding her phone. No scream. No warning. The doctors said it was an aneurysm. Instant. They said, no pain. That sentence kept me alive for weeks. Because if I believed she didn't suffer, then maybe I didn't need to ask questions. But suffering doesn't always look violent. Sometimes it looks quiet. After the burial, my father said we should leave our apartment in Lekki and stay for a while at our family house in Surulere, the house I hadn't lived in since I was a child. I didn't want to go. That house never felt like home. It felt like something watching us. But I was grieving, and grieving people obey instructions they don't agree with. The house was old, but not abandoned. Cream-colored walls, iron railings, locked doors that felt heavier than they should. The kind of house where sound behaves strangely, where silence doesn't feel empty. My father barely spoke. My aunt is my mother's younger sister stayed with us. Her name is Ifanania. She watched everything. She always had. The first night I slept there, I woke up suddenly. No dream, no nightmare, just sound. Someone was crying. Not loud, not dramatic, just broken. Like someone trying very hard not to be heard. At first I thought it was my aunt. Then I thought maybe it was me. But the crying didn't come from my room. It came from inside the house. I sat up, heart beating too fast for a calm night. I listened. The sound stopped. That should have scared me. But what scared me more was the feeling that the crying had noticed me listening. The second night, it happened again. Same time, around 3 a.m. This time I stood up. I followed the sound through the hallway, past old framed pictures. Pictures where my mother smiled, but never looked relaxed. The crying led me to a door. The attic door. A place I wasn't allowed to enter as a child. Ever. I don't know why I didn't open it. Something in me said, if you open this door, your life will not go back to normal. So I went back to bed. The third night, the crying said my name. Amara. That voice was my mother's. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I just sat there frozen, because grief doesn't prepare you for this. Nothing prepares you to hear your dead mother call your name from somewhere that shouldn't exist. The next morning, I opened the attic. Dust everywhere. Old boxes. Old bags. Forgotten things. And in the far corner, there was a large calabash, wrapped in red cloth. Sealed. I didn't know what it was, but my body reacted before my brain did. My chest tightened. My palms sweated. And when my fingers touched it, someone knocked. From inside, I screamed. The calabash fell. Footsteps rushed up the stairs. My father stood there. He didn't ask what I touched. He didn't ask what I heard. He just stared at the calabash and whispered, "You touched it." That evening, the truth started leaking. Not because they wanted to tell me, but because the crying wouldn't stop anymore. My aunt finally spoke. She said, There are things families do to survive. I asked her what she meant. She looked at me and said, "Your mother agreed." That sentence still makes me sick. They told me everything. Years ago, when my parents were broke, when survival felt impossible, my father made a deal. Not with God, not with ancestors, with something that doesn't like names. The deal was wealth, security, influence. In exchange, someone would carry the burden. My mother volunteered. She didn't know what that meant. She thought it was prayer. She thought it was ritual protection. But what it really meant was being bound. Her spirit split. Part of her trapped, held, contained. The calabash wasn't decoration. It was maintenance. Every year, the binding was renewed. Every year, my father chose comfort over release. And when the calabash weakened, her body couldn't carry the weight anymore. So she collapsed. So she cried. So she called me. I demanded they release her. My aunt laughed. That laugh, I will never forget it. She said, "Release her. Then who replaces her?" That was when I understood. My entire life had been preparation. I was born the same night the pact was sealed. My name wasn't chosen for beauty. It was chosen for alignment. I wasn't their daughter. I was their backup. That night, the crying turned into screams. My mother begged me not to trust them. They locked the attic. They prepared rituals. And I made a decision that felt like courage. I broke the calabash. The house shook. The screaming stopped. And for one beautiful second, I thought I had won. My father smiled. That was when I felt it. Inside me. The weight. The silence. The truth. The calabash was never the prison. It was the container. By breaking it, I became it. My mother was free. But the burden didn't disappear. It moved. Into me. I still live in Lagos. I still work. I still smile. But sometimes, late at night, when the city finally goes quiet, I hear crying. Not from a calabash. Not from the attic. But from inside my chest. This is the truth nobody tells you. Some families don't pass down love. They pass down survival. And breaking generational curses doesn't mean they end. Sometimes, they just change victims. If you ever hear crying from something sealed, do not open it. Freedom always asks for a replacement. I am Amara Ahmed, and this is how my family survived. At my expense. Subscribe for true feeling African folktales because some stories don't stay in the past.